Hi, everyone. My name is Maren Schroeder. I'm the Coalition Director for the MN is Ready Coalition. Thank you, my fan club. Big thank you to the Minnesota Hemp Growers Cooperative for letting us borrow your stage today to talk with some of our candidates here in Minnesota about full legalization. Woo! Light it up. Not at the state fair unless you're in the smoking section. I have Esther Agbaje.
Yes!
Yes!
Woo!
Who's a state representative. I'm going to let her go ahead and introduce herself, and then we're going to do some Q&A.
Thanks so much. Hi, everybody. It's really good to be here with you today. As said, my name is Esther Agbaje. I am the state representative for House District 59B, which is in downtown Minneapolis and parts of North Minneapolis. So really glad to talk more about how we can fully legalize marijuana, especially on a lot of the equity issues when it comes to making sure that those who were harmed by the war on drugs can actually benefit from our new legalized system for marijuana. So thank you for having me here today.
So the first question is, why do you think Minnesota is ready for full legalization?
We are ready because everyone else is doing it and we don't want to be late on the bus. But really we're actually ready because we do have systems in place. We have thought about this. We actually have a bill that went around in 21 that has a full measure of legalization, making sure we have great access into the market, especially for those who were denied access to the market. And I think it's really just time. We know that this is what people want, and I think it's time for us as policymakers to respond to what people have been asking us to do.
For sure. For sure. The people are there. The legislature maybe not so much.
Yeah.
In full.
Yes.
Some of you are.
Some of us are there. We're waiting for the rest of them to catch up.
Yeah, they'll maybe come along. So what is the most important thing that we should consider when legalizing cannabis?
From my perspective, I think the most important thing, as I've been mentioning, is really making sure that we are expunging the records of those who are only in jail or prison for marijuana possession, that we're making it easier for people to enter the market, especially those who were in the black market beforehand. Some cities and states have actually done a really good job of ensuring that licenses and permits kind of are first go to those who have been harmed by the war on drugs. So that's something I want us to continue to emulate here in Minnesota. And I think as we think about it, I think we really just want to make sure that this is a market that won't get overtaken by big agriculture and big marijuana. As someone who, one of my other jobs is trying to regulate the tobacco industry, I know that a lot of the bigger marijuana groups are wanting to kind of emulate what the tobacco industry did, and I'm hoping that this will actually be different than that, and that it's a much more inclusive system.
Love it. We got a lot of work to do on that. So some very red states are very far ahead of us as far as cannabis policy goes, be it medical or recreational. So why can't Minnesota get it done, and what hurdles do we have to getting that House-passed bill across the finish line?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really great question. I think some of the hurdles some of the objections that I've heard is that, you know, people still think this is like a gateway drug to other things, but we know that marijuana, when used moderately and correctly, is one of the safer drugs out there. We also know that states have been doing really well about the education aspect of it too, to let people know what they're getting into. And I think there's also still this idea that if you're into marijuana or into other drugs, then you must automatically be a criminal, and we know that that's not true. So those are some of the myths that we have to dispel, and those are also some of the barriers that we have to overcome. And then finally, I think some people just, I don't know what it is they're waiting for. We've seen other states been able to use this as an amazing tax revenue for them, and I think that that's something that, Minnesota, we do really great on our taxes, but there's still areas that we need help funding, and if this is an area that can help us do that, then I think we should get involved.
Thank you. So more of a personal question, why do you support legalization?
I support legalization because in this area, this is a space where not to use an argument that a lot of people use against me, but prohibition hasn't really worked here. And we also know that there are some significant health benefits to cannabis and marijuana. And so I think that we need to have a regulated industry. I think we need to make sure that the products that people are using and ingesting are safe. And we don't want them to get in trouble because they're engaged in a black market with people who may be more unscrupulous. So I think it's just a real opportunity to try to meet people where they are. They're already using this. We've been using this for generations. And how can we make sure that we're doing it in a safe and equitable manner?
Woo. Thank you. So I got 2 last questions for you. What are you hearing from voters in your district on this subject?
My district, they want it. My district is, they are on board with this. I get emails every once in a while saying, like, please go ahead and vote for legalization of marijuana. There are a couple of people who still have questions, so I don't want to dismiss their questions either, but most of those is because they've had bad experiences with it. They've had a family member who has gone on to disrupt their lives in other ways, and so I think they want to prevent people from doing that. But what I tell them is that the way that we do that is if we have a regulated industry, we have the education on it, and we have the methodology to help people if they're starting to get in trouble, that will help save people from going down a bad path.
Love it. Last question. How can cannabis legalization supporters help to get cannabis legalization across the finish line?
Talk to your legislators. Talk to your local leaders. They need to hear from you. I know a lot of people, I just had someone ask me today about a different issue, how can they get involved? And I know it feels like people are ignoring you, but they see those messages, they hear those messages, they know that they're coming in. So I say keep sending them, especially if you're in an area that's represented by policymakers and legislators who aren't quite on board. Make those appointments to talk to them, because they have to listen to people that they represent. So I say that that's a big way to do it. Continue talking to people who are reticent, and then continue supporting people who are on board by letting us know that you're still on board, that you still want us to keep in this way, and just be engaged in the process. And that's all I can recommend to people.
Cool. If you're here and you enjoyed this and you support full legalization, over on the table over there, there is some postcards with a QR code. Scan that, hit the pledge to vote, fill it out, show someone behind the table that you did it, and you'll get a free button. And then we'll connect with you about who supports legalization and who doesn't in your district. Again, I want to thank you for hanging out today.
No, thank you for inviting me. This is awesome. I need to do more of these things.
We will welcome you anytime you want to come and talk about weed.
Yes, definitely.
And thank you to the Minnesota Hemp Growers Co-op for having us today. We'll be back sometime in the next hour. Can't tell you exactly when. Waiting for a candidate. Thanks, everyone.